Okay, today we are going to start recording. Docker is a container virtualization tool where we create virtual machines on the same kernel of the host machine. That means you need to understand the difference between normal virtualization like VirtualBox and VMware and Docker. Okay, normally if you use VMware or VirtualBox, what it happens is, if for example, if you have um, for example 200 GB of hard disk and 8 GB of RAM. Okay, if you give 1 GB of RAM to each machine and 50 GB of space for each machine, what will happen is you can only create maximum three virtual boxes with that space. So 150 GB it takes. Another 50 would be um, for your host machine, and you cannot use any 50 for another virtual machine. Okay. In the same sense, if you use 2 GB of RAM for each virtual machine, it reserves the memory space in the memory space of the host machine. Okay, it reserves. You cannot use. For example, I have 8 GB of RAM and 200 GB of hard disk, and I'm running 3 virtual machines, each with 2 GB of RAM and 50 GB of hard disk. Then after creating 3, I cannot create anymore because my host machine also needs some RAM and disk space. In this case, what happens is, for example, you have 3 VMs, A, B, and C. Okay, A is consuming more than what we have given. Okay, that means it is consuming more than 2 TB, but memory utilization is 100% and it reached almost 50 GB of hard disk, where B and C are not consuming that much, even 1% of memory and disk space. So there we cannot share the other resources to this machine. That is the disadvantage of normal conventional virtualization tools like VMware. Okay, to avoid this, normally Docker came into the picture. What Docker will do is, in virtual machines, VMware, actually it installs its own operating system on each VM, and it creates its own kernel and everything from the scratch as a different machine. But in Docker, it uses the kernel of host machine and runs on top of that. What it will do is, if we have 3 Docker containers, here we call VMs as containers in Docker. Okay, if we run 3 containers, and it only takes from takes the memory from the host machine whenever it needs, how much it needs, and it leaves those resources whenever it is not utilizing it. That means, for example, if container A utilizes 3 GB of RAM, okay, and 100 GB of disk space, where B and C are using only 1 GB of RAM and 10 GB of space, it only uses that much space from the host machine. Whenever the utilization is down, it releases for the host machine. So it is shared one. It dynamically takes the resources from the host machine and releases whenever it is done with it. Okay, that is the main advantage of that. And we will start now. So we will see how to install your operating system, but Docker on your operating system. You need to have Linux operating system for this, and it should be 64-bit. Okay, you need to check. How do you check whether it is 64-bit or not? You have to use uname-a command in your Linux, so that it will give you entire uh, details of the particular operating system. It is Linux. Okay, this is my host name, online DevOps, and this is the kernel version. 4.8.0 FN49 FN generic, and this is my Ubuntu operating system 16.04. Okay, and this is the date of the version and all. Okay, and yeah, here you can see the architecture. This is 64-bit. Okay, if you want more details about of my operating system, you can find like here cat/etc star release. Release spelling is incorrect. Okay, release. So here you can get all the details of the operating system. All right. So what command should I use to install Docker? So this is the command apt-get install docker.add. So it installs my operating Docker on my system. Okay, normally it takes some time because it should download all the dependencies and then install. Okay, now my Docker is installed. If you check here, Docker version, it gives the version 1.12.6. Okay, so if you hit Docker, it gives all the Docker commands and options. It is just like help. The basic synopsis of Docker command is Docker option command and argument. Okay, we will check in detail. So these are the options we use. Okay, debug, host, help, okay, long list, etc. Attach to running container, build, commit, copy. Okay, all these options. We are going to check almost many of these options. And before that, we need to understand two things. Docker has images. Docker has images, and we have to run images as a container. Sorry for this. Oh. My charging is down. Give me a minute. I'll put my charger here. So Docker has images, and from the image you run the container. But at the first time, where do you get the Docker images? There is a place called Docker Hub. It is an open repository. You can also, sign up for free here, and you can download all the images. For example, yeah, I have Hello World here. Let me check in details. Hello World. Hello World is a basic container which runs and echoes only Hello World. Nothing else. It does nothing else, but it just echoes Hello World. And here in repository, we have so many versions of the Docker file. Okay, here we have versions as a tags. See here, I have two versions. One is latest and one is nano server. If I check tags here, I have the tags. These are updated 4 months ago, and nano server is 3.30 3 MB and the latest one is 971. Okay, you have to check here and download whatever you want. So what I'll do is I want to run this. In this Docker Hub, it has a complete description of particular, I mean, a particular image, how to run it and all. So if you see here, this is the command to run. Okay, so it gives everything. Let us try. This is the basic image to test whether our Docker is working or not. Docker run hello world. All the Docker images are in small letters only. Okay, this is the repository name, Docker-world, and this is the version name. Okay, so I'm not hitting anything. It will take the latest by default. Let us check. Hello world. Normally what happens is when we hit Docker images, it lists all the images which are in my system. But I don't have any system because I have just removed everything and uninstalled earlier before starting this session and installed Docker completely again. Okay, so I don't have any images now. So whenever I hit Docker run hello world, normally it checks locally. What it is saying is unable to find image hello world latest. So latest is the version. Here we have it. Latest is the version or nano server is the version. We can give anything like this. If we don't give anything separated by colon and version, it takes the latest one. So it is unable to find locally because we don't have any image locally. So it is pulling from library. Where is the library? It is in Docker Hub. Okay, it is pulling the library. So to generate this message, Docker took the following steps. Okay, contacted daemon, everything. It gives simple description there. So now I have image here. Let's see. This is the Docker image. Let me maximize. If I hit Docker images command, it lists all the images. So my repository is hello world and my tag is latest. This is my image ID and it was created 3 months ago and the size is 1.8 KB. Okay, if I run now Docker run hello world, so it gives the message. It is saying hello world. Okay, for the first time also it gave the same. So it is echoing hello world, hello from Docker. Okay, so that is the output of that particular container, but container is not running. If you want to check whether container is running or not, you have to hit Docker PS, but no container is running. If you hit Docker PS -a, -a means -all, it says container stopped containers as well. So it says hello world. This is the container ID. The first one is container ID, where it is showing here, and this is image name. And this is the command where it is being executed. Okay, in that container /hello is being executed. Maybe it is a script and created 34 minutes ago. Sorry, 34 seconds ago and exited 33 seconds ago. So it ran only for 1 second to display that and it went offline. Okay, so there are two modes in Docker to run a container. One is attached mode and one is detached mode. Attached mode is only it displays the output. It displays the output or it runs for a while and it exits once command is finished. But in detached mode, it runs continuously without. it will not exit. Okay, please ask me if you are not getting anything. Okay, so if you are not able to follow, please ask me the questions. Okay, so there are two things. One is attached mode and one is detached mode. In attached mode, the container runs and exits like this. Okay, it is only running for 1 second. And in detached mode, it will continuously run. Even it will continuously run without exiting unless we stop or start the container. Okay, I'll show you. So now we have only one image, this one. So let me try installing one Ubuntu or any CentOS image so that we can check. Okay, I'm going to my Docker Hub. In my Docker Hub, there are so many images. All these are official images. Nginx, Redis, BusyBox, Ubuntu, Docker registry itself, Alpine, MySQL server, etc. See, normally what happens is Ubuntu is an operating system. Okay, so you can get operating system image from this. If you see MySQL, inside MySQL image is created on top of any base operating system image, and then they install MySQL and create one image. Okay, so these are the versions of this particular Docker image. If you want to check what version of MySQL is running and how to run, all these kinds can be described here in this document. Okay, so leave it for a while, and I'll show you how to do that with the operating system so that we can execute more commands inside this. So Ubuntu. In Ubuntu, I have these many versions: 16.04, 16.10, 17.4, etc. So if you check here inside tags, you have so many versions here, different tag names and all. So the Ubuntu, uh, typical way of running Ubuntu operating system as a container is Ubuntu run -it, okay, -d, Ubuntu my tag name. I give 04 /bin/bash. Oh, sorry, Ubuntu 04. Okay, what will happen is normally it runs in a detached mode. -d is for detached mode. Okay, and sorry, I have to remove this. It is not for now. It is just to log in. Okay. Docker runs this Ubuntu image in detached mode. I'll tell you what it means. Why I gave Ubuntu :1704. There's a reason for that. So that is a normal syntax of any Docker image. So repository name is this, and repository : version name, so that it will identify the exact version of my Docker container image. Okay. If I don't give any version name, it will take the latest version. Okay. Let me try now. So this is a basic command, so I'm saying now. So Docker run -d is a detached mode and 17.04. So it says again, unable to find image Ubuntu : 17.04 locally. So it will pull from Docker Hub. Just please don't hesitate to ask me if you are not understanding anything. I can explain right away and go ahead for another next topic. Okay. So we are doing only, we are pulling the Docker images from Docker Hub and we are working on it. Okay, we are not doing anything else. It pulls the Docker from Docker Hub, places here on my host, Docker host. You can call it Docker host, and it is running the images as a container. Container acts like a separate virtual machine with separate operating system and applications installed. Okay, you can connect with the Docker container and do whatever you want. For example, if you are running application server, for example Tomcat, and you are running MySQL server, and you can connect both and you can work together. Okay. Now, what it is saying, download newer image this, and it is running. Okay, let us check if it is running or not. Oh, it is not running. Docker PS F1. Sorry. So, what I have done so far is it ran for 30 seconds and exited. Okay, let me run it again. Docker images. I have 3 images. I have no Docker container running here. So let me run it. Docker run. fnd Ubuntu colon 17.04. Oh, so I think I'm missing something. Just a minute. Let me tell you one more thing. If you want to run some command on my Ubuntu machine, okay. First, we'll check this and then go for it. So I run this command, echo hello world. Oh, this command is not found inside a container. Okay, no problem. So I'll try this. Docker run -it -it fnd Hello, are you able to hear now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what I was saying is, now I exited from the Docker container, Docker Ubuntu container, and then my container is not running now. That means this is in attached mode, and whenever you exit from the container, we lose Docker container. Okay, fine. Now we will check few more options. We'll check few more options. Oh, sorry guys, my internet is fluctuating, so I lost it again. Okay, what I was saying is I was just pulling a Ubuntu image instead of running it. Earlier, what we have checked is I have run one Ubuntu image, and if this image is not there in locally in my Docker host, it goes to Docker library and pulls it and then runs it. So now what I'm doing is my intention is not to run the Docker, Ubuntu container directly, but I just want to pull the image into my Docker host and keep there. So if I check images here, I have Ubuntu image. I just pulled the image. Okay. So I think I have some problem with the internet. We will end this session by now. We will discuss more topics tomorrow. But in the meantime, please go ahead and try to install Docker on your machine. But you need to have any machine. Here I'm using Ubuntu, and if you are using any Red Hat, you can use yum commands for that to install it. But you need to have 64-bit of operating system, and you can install it. What we have done so far is we have done how to run a Docker container and how to log in, okay, and how to pull the Docker images, and you know how to check and uh, how to check images and running process. Okay, till now please do practice, and we will connect tomorrow again with more topics. Okay, if you have any doubts till now, please ask me. Did you get the complete understanding why Docker is being used?
Swaroop, hello, Swaroop.
Yeah, yeah.
Swaroop, I had one doubt. This we need to install the Docker, as you said, that app get install Docker. It will directly install the Docker in your